Happy Sunday. And welcome to the Sunday edition of Facebook Live and a show we have yet to name, actually, which is funny because I'm on Wednesday too, and we call Wednesday Matters. This Sunday doesn't really have a name yet. If you think of one, let me know. God bless you. No, you don't have to do that. So, how is everyone this morning? On this beautiful Sunday morning, the Sunday morning after Halloween, and officially All Saints Day, among other titles that this day gets, and 2 days before the most important election of our lifetimes. Don't you think? Don't you think? So here we are, and it's November. I mean, an awful lot has happened in like the last 24 hours. It has gone from October to November. It has gone from Halloween to All Saints Day. It has taken another day off the distance of time between now and the election. Wow. Wow, that's a lot in 24 hours. And I've lost a couple of pieces of paper. Nothing crucial. But you know how annoying that is when you know it was right there and then it's not there. Well, must not have needed it, is the way I look at it. Good Sunday afternoon. Hello, Laura. Hello, Dana. Glad you're here. Happy that you have joined me on this, the last Sunday before election, the first Sunday in November of 2020, which means there's only 2 months left in this year, and I think most of us are going to be glad to see it pass on. It had such promise. Ah, wonderful day. Yes, it is, Brenda. Yes, it is. And here we all are. Yes, indeed, Jennifer. Here we are. Yay us. Yay us. Happy Sunday morning. Happy 2 days before the election. Happy day after Halloween. Happy whatever you'd like to make it. Just make it happy. That's a choice. That's a choice. I saw my hummingbird this morning. I hadn't seen him since Thursday. I was getting a little concerned about his welfare, and then he showed up this morning. So I'm in great spirits, having now seen my little tisk tisk. Yes, good morning, Lainey. Oh, happy day yourself. Yes. I hear you, Dana. I hear you. Dana says, feeling anxious about the election and its outcome, struggling to stay in principle. Stop the struggle. Stop the struggle. Just be there, stay there. You know? Highest good. If you pray for the highest good, then regardless of what happens, that's what's going to happen. And are we all concerned about what it might look like? Oh, yeah, you'd have to be living in a cave someplace or under a rock, I suspect, to not be concerned about what may happen. But we don't live in caves and we're not under a rock. We do know, and we are concerned, and we're praying, aren't we, for the highest good. Is it Sunday yet? Yes, Kirk, it's Sunday all day. What there is of it. Um, and technically there's 1 hour less of it. The clock's back, there's 1 hour more. 1 hour more of it. So what are you going to do with that hour? What are you going to do? You have an extra hour. Now, you could have used it to sleep. I didn't. I was feeling guilty about the pets. I thought they don't know about daylight savings time, and they don't know that we set clocks and change times and declare it to be different than it was. They know when their stomach gets hungry, and It's going to be at the same time for them that it was yesterday and the day before. And just that kind of thinking got me up early and got me feeding them, which was not really early. I mean, really? It wasn't. The clock said it was earlier, but it didn't feel any different to me, and I'm sure it didn't feel any different to them. And I'm just going to have to figure out how to ease them into the new time and not just clobber them with it overnight. Because otherwise, that would throw them all over the map, chronologically speaking, as well, Kirk. Yeah, Heidi, we all do. Heidi says, I do my best work when I get out of the way and let spirit work its magic. Yeah, yeah. That's the secret. That's the secret. To get out of the way. To get out of the way and let spirit do what spirit does. And if you are directing spirit toward creating the highest and greatest good, then so much the better. And so much the better for you, because you will know that regardless of what the appearances may be, the highest and greatest good is what's happening. Can you know that? No matter what. I know there are ways that's going to look a whole lot easier and make more sense to you. But can you know that no matter what? Can you know that all is not revealed at once? And about the election, that's probably going to be very true. We're so used to, aren't we, casting our ballots, then going home and turning our TVs on and waiting for 8 o'clock and waiting for the news reports to start coming in and knowing before we go to sleep, or at least by the time we wake up in the morning, what the results are. And that may not be true this time, unless there's a landslide. We're praying for a blue wave. Kirk's hour is going to be spent resetting all of his analog clocks. Yeah, I got that. I did the two microwave clocks last night, and the one on the stove, and then kind of threw my hands up, and we took down the little analog clock from over the sink, and said, "There, it's down. We'll reset it in the morning," and it died overnight. We put new batteries, two new batteries, in it, and it doesn't want to work. So we're on a clock hunt now. Um, I hear you, Donna, and maybe something I say this morning will help with that. Let's not talk throwing ourselves off bridges, because that actually accomplishes nothing, except that that'd be the end of you, and the world would be a poorer place, Donna. So don't. Yeah, yeah. Well, Dana, that's the whole thing, isn't it? See, that's real faith. That's real faith. Is trusting spirit even if it doesn't look like what you think it should look like. That's faith. It's nobody ever said it was easy. Nobody ever said it was easy. Um, and it can be difficult, and we don't know what's going to happen, do we? There are a lot of bridges. I mean, we could take turns jumping off bridges, but I don't see that in the long run that's going to solve anything. And Donna, you're right. You're a lawyer, for God's sake. We need more people like you in the world. We do. We need you. So, can the bridge idea, and for now, for today, just know that the highest and greatest good is going to happen, and that we don't know exactly what that's going to look like. We don't. We know what we think it should look like. But I don't know about you. I've been wrong before. I've been wrong before. I don't see how I could be wrong with this one. But I've been wrong before and thought I was right. So who knows? Who knows? We have work to do on ourselves. I trust you have all voted because your vote counts. Your voice really matters, especially, I think, in this election. Nobody can take anything for granted. So let's not. If you haven't voted, there's plan number one. What are you going to do? I suspect, looking at all of your names and seeing who's here, that you've all already voted. Planetary positions may be favorable to know somehow by the 13th. That wouldn't be too bad. Yeah. Help others and help each other. Yeah. Come back to me on Wednesday night. No jumping off bridges. Okay, everybody raise your right hand. Come on. Everybody raise your right hand. Right now. I promise not to jump off a bridge because of the election results. Okay. I swear I will be a good metaphysician, and I will know that the highest and greatest good is happening. So help me, God. So help me, God. Good. All right. Now I can continue. And you're my best students. We've got work to do. People, we have work to do. So, I was cleaning out a file drawer, the other day. I didn't get very far. I never do. But I found an old file just as I was in my what am I going to talk about on Sunday? It's too late to talk about Halloween. And what can I say about the election? So I found this old file, and it contained a blog from November of 2010, not 1910. And with the change of just a few words to bring it up to date, it said this: by the end of the week, it's all over but the shouting. Most of the votes will have been counted. The winners may have been declared. The multi-million dollars worth of television commercials will have, thank God, disappeared into the nothingness from which they came. Now the work begins. Will the campaign promises be kept? Will the sides put away their differences and work together for the common good? Will seemingly bright people assume responsibility for the position they are in and find a way to solve the challenges that face our communities, our states, our nation, and the world? Time will tell. This I know. Just as each of us had a vote, a voice through our vote, in determining the results of the elections, so too now we must not abdicate the responsibility for our lives to those who are assuming office. Whether or not the candidates and the propositions that we voted for were victorious, the die will have been cast, and the winners will write the next chapter in our history. On an individual level, much is the same. Now is the time for each of us to put aside our differences and work together for a common good. Now is the time for us to remember to keep our promises, to claim responsibility for the position we are in, and to find the ways to solve the challenges we face. As the individual goes, so goes the nation. How will you write the next chapter in your history? Not a bad blog. I was kind of pleased with that. And there was more in that file folder I found. It also contained material from the 1992 commitment program at SpiritWorks. In it, I found the platform for what we called the Spiritual Law Party, which claimed to be the first political party in the world based on sound spiritual principles. Its slogan was "Change your thinking, change your world." Its mission statement was actually pretty simple. It all fit on one 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. The Spiritual Law Party, functioning under the guiding light of spiritual law, is dedicated to the education, inspiration, and healing of each individual through the practice and teaching of truth. The unique contribution of this party to the healing of the planet is threefold. 1. Spiritually centered principles which solve planetary problems. 2. Spiritually centered programs which empower the individual to greatness through an awareness of oneness with God. And 3. Spiritually centered programs which uplift and inspire the individual to be the fullest expression of God that they may be. There was more. The outline for the party platform covered, as far as I could see, every conceivable area of our collective life. The economy, prosperity for all through increased creativity. Employment, creating and sustaining meaningful employment for all by releasing the latent creative potential and power within each individual. Education, education which develops higher consciousness and increases the individual's use of creative intelligence. Environment, the recreation of a pollution-free planet through divine guidance, increased individual awareness, and a commitment to personal responsibility. Energy, the recognition of divine energy flowing in and through each individual. The channeling of that energy into positive, life-enhancing conditions. Taxing, create health, wealth, and joy while alleviating taxing situations which create stress and disharmony. Crime prevention, create a crime-free society by eliminating fear and frustration and promoting the ability of the individual to think and act in accordance with spiritual law. Health, revolutionizing healthcare by teaching the individual how to prevent and or heal physical, mental, and emotional dis-ease. Social welfare. Teaching and implementing programs which enliven and empower the individual. Urban development. Revitalizing our cities from the inside by creating the harmony and celebrating the diversity that makes us one. Not bad. I think we covered a whole lot with that. The opening statement of the Spiritual Law Party was this: the world, our world, is ready for change. The more things change, the more they remain the same. This was all written nearly 30 years ago. And I believe it is even more true today than it was when those words were originally written. So, here's what I know. In order to create political change, as it was back in 1776, it all begins with a convention. A convention, a meeting or assembly of people who share a common interest. That's Webster. And I truly believe that we are that. An assembly of people who share a common interest. In this particular case, the betterment of our lives in the world. And I truly believe that being that, we have a responsibility. So I would like to invite you to join me in convention to renew the commitment to effect that change. I would like to think that we have come together today in convention to effect change and to make a difference. Will you agree to that? To being a delegate for the human race at the 2020 convention of the Spiritual Law Party. Well, I'm going to assume that by your continued presence, you have signified your willingness to participate in this process. And so by your presence, you are a delegate for positive change in our world. Now, this I know. You arrive at convention, as we all do, with a personal agenda. An idea of how life should be and how your world should look. As a delegate, your job at convention is to gather support from all of the delegates in attendance, because you will want to have as many delegates as possible committed to your success, as well as being committed yourself to the success of each candidate this party represents. Together, we define the party platform, because the platform reflects what we stand for. And the candidates are expected to articulate the party's ideas and ideals during the campaign season, which is relatively short, and then to put those ideas and ideals into practice for the highest good when elected. Are you willing to do that? Now, I know the various candidates naturally have different ideas, different priorities, and offer different solutions to the challenges that we face. But we arrive as delegates uncommitted to anything but our own agenda And we leave as candidates committed to our collective highest ideals, both as individuals and as a united party. As a candidate, it is imperative that you be committed to the achievement of your goals. Commitment is a non-negotiable prerequisite for success. You must come to believe in yourself as absolutely worthy and capable of winning. You must know that you deserve that which you seek, and that, in fact, the benefits of your achievement will not only be personal, but will accomplish the greatest good for everyone concerned. Without commitment, very little is accomplished. There's hesitancy, inconsistency, procrastination. But with commitment and a little faith, mountains are moved. Change happens. Transformation becomes a reality. At the conclusion of any successful campaign, the candidates are united in common purpose. The purpose of this convention is to unite all under one platform and have each leave committed to personal spiritual growth. To achieve party unity, all delegates must realize that the ultimate goal is the greatest good for all. We are in this together. Each of us desires a better world. Each of us wants peace and freedom. Each of us wants to live in a healthy environment. And each of us wants our needs and the needs of those that we love to be met, and, if possible, exceeded. None of us would consciously choose war or famine or disease or the enslavement of any other person. None of us would consciously allow abuse of another or the destruction of the planet if we believed that there was anything that we could do to prevent it. There is a way to achieve what we desire. We must become consciously aware that what the philosophers, the scientists, and the mystics have been saying throughout the ages is still true today. We are not alone. We do not live separate lives. There is an intelligence that created all and which permeates all that is. Ernest Holmes said it quite clearly. There is one life. It is God's life. It is my life now. One life. In all and through all. One spiritual party in which we all have membership. As one convention of God's people, working together, supporting one another, there is no limit to what we might accomplish. So here's the first step. Be committed to your own success. Be committed to the success of others. The second step is know, really know deep down in your heart, in your soul, down to your toes, know that you are not alone, nor need you appear to be. No matter what happens in the future, recognize that if you are to govern your life and your affairs wisely and effectively, you may need some help. As your campaign develops, you may be thinking about making appointments to your cabinet. But to get your campaign off and running, you must immediately make a decision about a running mate. Because the running mate you choose could be an asset or a liability. You might select a running mate in an effort to balance the ticket. In many cases, a candidate from the East may select a running mate from the West, or a Northerner may select a Southerner to create a ticket that is geographically balanced. A more liberal candidate might look to someone more conservative to create a ticket that is ideologically balanced. A wise candidate will recognize their own strengths and weaknesses, and then attempt to find a running mate who will complement the strengths and offset the weaknesses. Your ideal running mate will help balance not only your campaign ticket, but all areas of your life. Your ideal running mate will always be there to support your programs and your dreams. Your ideal running mate will always be there to provide you with wisdom and guidance so that you may easily handle any situation that may arise. Your ideal running mate can step in even when you do not feel capable of action and help you to achieve your goals. Your ideal running mate is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent. Make a commitment right now to seek out such a running mate. The search does not have to go far. In fact, you have only to look within at any moment to know that the perfect running mate for each of us is God. Conventional wisdom will tell you that if it is to be, it's up to me. Yeah, well, remember that you are not alone, and begin to see the incredible possibilities inherent in your life with God. Work with your running mate. As you begin to prepare for the future, take 10 minutes each morning to confer with your running mate. Go into a quiet place and ask the questions for which you have no ready answers. And then spend time listening. Make a commitment to follow that wisdom as you kick off your campaign. With commitment, with support, and with God as your running mate, all things become possible. Regardless of how things may look, regardless of how things have been, that changes things. Thus was the platform of the Spiritual Law Party in 1992, now revised for you in the year 2020. I think it still has power. I know you do. Vote if you haven't already. Know that your voice, your vote counts. It is your responsibility to participate in the process, just as it is your responsibility to participate in the process of creating your own life. There's no doubt in my mind that you will vote your conscience and that you will check in with spirit before filling in that little circle on the ballot. Pray for our nation. Pray for our world. Pray for the highest good. Pray for wisdom and love to prevail. Then vote. And you will have fulfilled your responsibility to your nation. And then the work begins. The blog asked the questions. I simply repeat them. Will you keep the promises you made? Will you? Please. Will you put away your differences and work together for the common good? Will you? Please. Will you, as a seemingly bright person, assume responsibility for the position you are in and find a way to solve the challenges that face our communities, our states, our nation, and the world? Will you? Please. Whoever they are, once the votes are all counted, they can't do it all. We've seen proof of that. But with you and God, there are no limits to the good that you can do. There is much to be done, regardless of which party wins the election. And we must be involved. We must not allow our differences to create any further separation. It begins with you and me and we with God. Then truly, all things are possible. God bless you. And God bless the United States of America. I love what you have written. Yes, Jennifer, the only thing in our control, once we've voted, is our response in our faith? Why would we respond in a way that is the very antithesis of what we say we believe? There's our responsibility. Yeah, let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. You can pray for peace. I think that's a real good idea. You know, the pundits are all saying that all kinds of civil disobedience and chaos and looting and pillaging and stuff is going to take place, regardless of who wins. I hope they're wrong. What can we do to overcome it? Short of arming ourselves and going and standing in front of our favorite store? That's not it. You know that's not it. We can pray for peace. And if it doesn't look like our prayers have been answered, just remember that it's on the news because it's different. If it looks like chaos and physical disobedience is the result of the election, and it could happen either way, know that there are corners of the world that we have affected, and there are places where peace has prevailed and where cooler minds have prevailed. Let us pray for peace. Let us pray for the highest good. Let us pray for this nation. One nation under God. Never been truer. Thank you. Okay. I can copy the platform. I can do that because it's in my notes. I'll have to clean up my typing. I wish I had the original document, and it's here somewhere. That was what I was saying had disappeared. We have a cat who moves things. We actually have a dog who moves things too, but the dog doesn't get up here. The cat does. So I will make an attempt to find the original, but if I cannot, I also have it in my notes. So hang on. We'll get it posted for you. I was delighted by, well, delighted and aghast. There was a combination of both. Delighted by how relevant some of it still was, and then kind of saddened by the fact that it was still relevant after nearly 30 years. Cac says her guess is that Jasmine moved it. Yeah, it was probably in her way. Yeah, Lainey, yes. Divine order and divine right action with love prevailing. Yes, Dana. Good girl. No matter who wins, it's still all God. That's right. See, that doesn't change. Would have been all God if blue had won. Not all God because red won. Or vice versa. It's still all God. That doesn't change. How could it? If it's all God, it's all God. Yes, 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 yes. I agree with all of you. Yes, I do. I do. Oh, you guys make me proud. Yeah, there have been a lot of articles lately on how to talk to the other side, how to talk to a fundamentalist, how to, and sometimes you just can't. Both parties have to want to talk, and both parties have to be at least a little open to a discussion. Um, I'm not saying don't try. I'm just saying if it becomes very, very clear very quickly that all they want to do is make you wrong, get out of the discussion. Offer to buy them a cup of tea or an ice cream cone. Something fun, depending upon what you think that might be for them. Ah, what a what a week this is going to be. I'm excited about it on one level and exhausted by it before it even starts. On yet another level, I will find that party platform. If I can scan it, that would be the ideal because it's already been kind of corrected and everything. But if I can't, I will. I'll get one to you. Just watch this space and see what shows up. Yay! It's always a good day with all of you. It just is. It's a good day. I feel better. I feel better about life. I feel better about the election. I feel automatically better about myself. The only thing I'm not feeling better about is where that piece of paper has gone. But I'll find it. I'm the finder around here. So I do have this. Oh, there we go. Spiritual Law Party Platform for a Better World, co-created by God, and then you put your name on the bottom. And then each page was, oh, there's one. There's one, there's one, there's one. I had a separate piece, but looky. There it is. So we'll see if we can scan this and just put it up. Well, I know I can scan it. I just don't know how well it's going to scan. It's got colors. I think I'm going to try to scan it in just black and white. And then there's individual pages within this that's a platform for a better world. Visions for healthcare, visions for the environment, each one of the areas of. I'd love to get all of this to you. Let me think about that between now and Wednesday, and maybe Wednesday we'll look at that. But I will try to scan this and get it up right away for you. Okie dokie? Okay. Every house needs a finder, doesn't it, Jennifer? I'm the finder around here. I find things that don't even know they're lost yet. It's a gift. It's a spiritual gift. I'm convinced of that. I had no special training. I just follow my intuition and I find things, which is good because we lose a fair amount of things around here. So it's very good to find them. We have one cat and one dog and one redhead who are good at putting things in strange places. So my job is to figure out what that strange place is. And yay, I found one. Oh, I'm so thrilled. This is not the one I copied off of, but I'm perfectly happy. Wish I had the original. I probably do somewhere on a floppy disk. And of course, there's only one computer in the house anymore that can even take a floppy disk, and I don't think it knows what to do with it. That's true. Nothing is ever lost in divine mind, although occasionally I feel like I've lost my divine mind, but that's beside the point. Anyway, because there's so much at stake, let's pray, shall we? close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just soft focus so that your attention goes within where the wisdom is and isn't distracted by everything that's going on around you. And know with me that all that there is God. All that there is, visible and invisible, is creation. That spirit, that life, that intelligence that was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be. We call it God because we must have a name for it. And yet even in that we limit it in our own minds. For that force, that intelligence, that wisdom, that love cannot be limited. Cannot be. Not in our lives, not in our families, not in our communities, not in our state, and not in our nation, and not in our world, not in our world. And we know that that spirit, that intelligence, that creative force is good. It is only good. And so we turn to it now and claim that what we know is that within the next week, only the highest and greatest good prevails. Only the highest and greatest good is the outcome of the election. Only the highest and greatest good is that divine activity that follows the election. And so we know for this nation and for the ripple effect that it has on the rest of the world, we know for this nation the highest and greatest good. And we know as well peace, prosperity, wholeness, the end of disease, the arising of love and kindness and understanding, the awareness within each individual of their divine heritage, and the reflection of that heritage in each and every life. And for ourselves, we know peace of mind and the activity of spirit in every area of our lives. It is all we need to know. It is all that there is. And we are one with it all. Each of us individually and collectively are one with God. We acknowledge it. We act from it. We let it be so. And so it is. What a blessing. What a blessing. To live in a country that allows us to speak our mind, to have the courage to speak our mind. To be together in the awareness of the presence of Spirit in and through all that there is and everyone. I love you all. I'm going to try immediately to scan this and post it. If it doesn't show up right away, it will be because it doesn't scan well, which is a possibility. The red background on the center part worries me a little bit, but we'll see what happens with that. I will attempt to scan it, and if I do, I will post it right away. If it doesn't show up right away, it's because it's not scanning, and I'm going to have to go with my notes and create a new document, and that may take a little time, but it will be here for you by the end of the day. So check back. I love you. Happy Sunday. Make it a good one. Be a blessing. I know you're already blessed. Be a blessing. And we'll talk on Wednesday. We'll talk on Wednesday. I love you. Go with God. You can go no other way.